No, you don't need the.
I'm doing this my way. He a legend, he a legend, he a legend. He a legend, he a legend, he a legend.
Fucking on it though, then
He
you
a
can't work it up
legend.
later.
Welcome to the league, to the league, to the league, to the league, to the league of items. Welcome to the league, to the league, to the league, to the league, to the league of items.
What's up, everybody? It's Pikel with League of Items. And before we talk about the LPL and LCK slate for Underdog, Prizepicks, and Draftkings, as well as traditional betting on sportsbooks, I want to remind everybody that there's a new partnership with the channel. I have a promo code on Underdog Fantasy. So the question that you might be asking yourself is, why should I use Underdog Fantasy? And there are really two good reasons. One, League of Legends, and two, the NFL. If you're into League of Legends and you like playing on websites like Prizepicks or Draftkings, Underdog is another way to get good access to different lines that are out there for over-unders as well as rivals, which is something that's unique to their website. I love Underdog in general. I think it's a very good app. I think it's really easy to use, and they keep putting out new products. I first started playing on Underdog with Best Ball for NFL. They have like $5 drafts, $10 drafts, a bunch of different sizes. They have some huge tournaments for the NFL season where like it's called Best Ball Mania. You can turn like a $5 or $10 lineup into thousands and thousands of dollars, which is pretty cool. There's a huge like tournament structure. It's pretty interesting. You should definitely check out that. But you know, in the more short term, there's League of Legends. So if you want to help support me and the channel, consider using promo code Pikel. You can also use the link in the description. They will do a deposit match for your first $100, which is pretty good. So just play through that one time, and you should be able to make a couple bucks, or let it ride on the NFL season. Play some lottery tickets in best ball, and like it's just a fun way to kind of approach it. And like I said before, we're gonna go through everything. We're gonna go from the LPL lineups. We don't know the LCK lineups, but we'll have an idea. Then we'll talk about the lines for the LPL and the LCK matches. It's a pretty straightforward day, in my opinion. Then we're going to go in-depth in Underdog, compare those to the lines on Prizepicks, and then finish off with Draftkings. So first up, we have EDG against World Elite. Obviously, this is a very EDG-favored matchup. We have Flandre, Junjia, Scout, Viper, Mako. So Junjia has been playing more recently than Jai, which originally, when they had those two junglers, I thought that Junjia was the better jungler, but they won a championship with Jai, so obviously he's no slouch. On World Elite, we have Demon, who I think has only played like one other match or two other matches so far this year. I don't have a great idea of the level of player that he is. We have View in the jungle over Beishang. In my opinion, that's a mistake. Beishang is a very good jungler. I'm sure that next season we'll see him on a better team. Then we have Shanks, Xing, and Kadaya. So it's a pretty clear EDG stomp spot. World Elite is a team that you want to play against for DraftKings purposes, so we'll take that into consideration later. Then we have LNG against Rare Atom. So LNG are obviously the favorites. We have Panda C, Tarzan, Duanbi, Light, and Lumao against Cube, Leon, Strive, iBoy, and Zora. LNG, I think, clinches playoffs with this win. I expect them to win this match. I don't feel super confident that it's going to be bloody, which is going to be most people's read on this spot. So I think from a DraftKings perspective, if you want to play the less likely outcome that they are the highest scoring team on the slate, you can definitely justify playing them as your primary stack, especially if they sweep. The only concern would be, does the EDG match go off the rails and is just extremely bloody? It's definitely a possibility. So like I said, in the LPL, EDG is a minus 2,500 favorite over Team World Elite. They're all great plays. They're going to be expensive on DraftKings. If you have the additional salary to get EDG team slot support, or anything that you can jam into your lineup with that extra game not played spot, is going to be beneficial in the long run. There are a bunch of sirens going on outside. Sorry about that, and sorry to whoever is going through whatever is happening out there. Then we have LNG against Rare Atom. LNG at minus 417. I think that Rare Atom, if you're getting if you're getting, a little bit of plus money on Rare Atom at plus 1.5, I could see why you'd want to play it. LNG has not been super clean so far this split. I don't think that Rare Atom is really going to pull off the upset here. If you look at it from like a matchup perspective, Cube against Leon, Cube against Panda C. If you told me that Cube went even or one lane against Panda C, I wouldn't be shocked. Leon against Tarzan. Tarzan's a much better player, but when you have two junglers that are both carry-style junglers, it is possible that Leon gets the better side of a matchup and can carry a game. And it's not because I think that he's better than Tarzan. That's just how League of Legends works. I don't really know how to explain that more in depth without going on a long tangent, and I don't want to waste multiple minutes. Strive against Doomby. Doomby is definitely the better player, but again, Strive could get drafted into a good spot. And then iBoy and Zora against Light and Lumao. I really don't expect many fireworks during the laning phase in the bot lane unless there's a lot of attention from Tarzan and Doomby. So, like I said, I think LNG wins the match. There's no reason to think that they won't. The fact that they've been underperforming all split is almost a reason to bet against the trend where, LNG just comes out and completely slaps Rare Atom to lock up their playoff spot. I mean, would that shock me? Not at all. And you'll probably get decent salary savings on the support slot, team slot, specifically the team slot. Rare Atom, at least they used to have longer games. It's just probably a good GPP spot for LNG. Is it going to hit every time? No, but if you can save some salary and get a unique construction in there because you have LNG as your primary stack, that's a good spot to take a look at. Then we have in the LCK, KT Rolster against Fredit Brion. KT Rolster is clearly the better team. They've had some good performances so far this split. They don't have a much better record, I think. Let me get the... KT Rolster's 8-6. Fredit Brion's 2-12. So they're still a middle of the pack team. But they are clearly better than Fredit Brion. Fredit Brion had a good match a few matches ago. They put together a good performance with an upset. But KT is clearly the better team. Rascal, Cuz, Aiming, Life, and then Arya or Vikla. I don't care who is playing. I prefer them both to Lava. Morgan is good in the top lane. Umti's an okay jungler. Henna and Delight are okay players, nothing special. Definitely KT favored. And then we have T1 up against Hamalife. One of the two or three best teams in the LCK against one of the two worst teams in the LCK. Clearly a smash spot for T1. So that's why I think it's kind of a tough slate for Draftkings specifically. When there's huge favorites like this, you feel insane not playing them. Like, you're not going to play Hanwha, you're not going to play World Elite. You're most likely not playing Fredit Brion over KT Rolster. So then your options are, do I play KT Rolster with LNG? Which one of them is my primary stack if I'm trying to be different? Can I get a 4-2-1 by incorporating a player from EDG or T1? Those are really the main decisions you're probably looking at tomorrow. So let's do the rivals first on Underdog. So like I said before, Underdog has the rival game mode where you're betting one player against another player from the same team, and one of the players will sometimes get a kill boost. So first up, we have KT Rolster against Fredit Brion. So Cuz and Rascal. Cuz is a jungler. He's getting +1 kills against Rascal, who is a top laner. Personally, I prefer junglers to top laners in terms of kills. There are spots where top laners will be the better side results-wise, but I think from a process perspective, the jungler is going to be more consistent in terms of the number of kills that they get. So especially when I can get a jungler +1 kill, I think that's a good spot. So I'd prefer Cuz over Rascal. In the same matchup, we have Umti against Morgan. Umti the jungler, Morgan the top laner. For KT Rolster, I don't think you're really doing yourself any favors attacking Rascal. Morgan is a carry player. He could get some kills in the laning phase. Maybe that's their plan, is to try to get Morgan ahead. But if they're trying to get Morgan ahead, it will involve Umti, so it's really just a coin flip of who's going to walk away with that kill. If they're trying to feed Morgan, then he would be more likely to get the kill. But I don't really feel great one way or the other. This is probably a stay away for me just because it's a half of a kill. I don't have the option of pushing it at all. So it's probably no bet for me. If I had to pick one side or the other, I would pick Umti. And in losses, I think in losses, junglers are still the better option. Because there's a higher percent chance that they will find a kill in some random interaction throughout the map. They're not only able to get kills in their lane or in their matchup specifically against the enemy jungler. Like a top laner, sometimes you get thrown on an island. And if the rest of the map is losing, you're not going to try to force the issue and get a kill. Then we have the next two teams, World Elite and EDG. So first up for World Elite, we have Demon against View. I don't know much about Demon. I would take the jungler again, plus half kill for the top laner, but I'd prefer to just have the jungler. And then we have Junjia against Flandre. And it's really just the same thing. I want the jungler plus 1.5. The one thing I should take a look at is in EDG's last match. Let's try to find what his champion pool has looked like recently. So we had Wukong and Poppy. 33 kills in a game. Oh my god. LNG is the play tonight. LNG is the play tonight. Yeah, so this is the only concern that I would have for playing Junjia over Junjia over Flandre is something like a Poppy game. Poppy in general is not the kind of champion we want our jungler playing to get a bunch of kills. I know that on this it looks like Poppy's gotten a decent number of kills sometimes, but I would prefer things like Viego. Some of these Poppy, if you're playing Poppy aggressively, then sure, I can see how you get a bunch of kills. I still don't love it. But like I said, I want the jungler with the plus 1.5 kills. In their last match, Junjia had more kills than Flandre, and you're giving me plus 1.5. I'll take it. Then the next matchup, we have Rare Atom against LNG. So Cube, the top laner, against Leon, the jungler. I think that Cube in a losing game, in a losing match, I think that Cube has a better chance to get kills than Leon. So this is when I'd go against the grain. The reason why this is a tough choice for me is because I'm just trying to think about the matchup between LNG and Rare Atom. Leon is likely to pick a carry jungler. I think Tarzan is more likely to just give up the potential tempo advantage, or the potential scaling advantage to Rare Atom and just play a more aggressive early game jungler. If LNG gets ahead, that'll put Leon in a tough spot, which might make Cube more likely to get kills. So I think I almost want to play Cube at plus 1. But it seems thin. This is a tough one for me. I just wouldn't play it. If I had to pick a side, I would take the extra kill. And then on the LNG side, we have Pandacy against Tarzan. Pandacy at plus 2.5. That's just pretty nuts. Let's take a look at one of LNG's recent matches. Pandacy 4, 5. So 5 to 8. He wouldn't have covered even though he had 4 kills in one game. Oh god, Doinby's playing Renekton mid again. Oh, you don't want to see that. Man, it's tough to bet against Tarzan. Breaking out the Elise again. That's pretty cool. My gut says Pandacy, but it feels bad. So do what you will with that information. Then we have an LCK match. So we have T1 against Hanwha. There is no Hanwha line up right now, so it's just T1. We have Owner against Zeus, everybody calls him Zeus. That just kind of blows my mind. Maybe that's how he wants to be pronounced, but whatever. I would say that Zeus is the better side. That one is pretty quick gut reaction for me. Let's do the over-unders. Let's get rid of that. So again, for KT Rolster against Frederick Brion, we have Vikla, Aiming, and Life. That's a tough number to get to. I would say that's probably an under for Aiming and Life. Vikla, I'm not even sure if Vikla is the one starting tonight, so I don't really want to play either side of that, just in case it's a push. Then we have Lava at 3.5. If you think that Frederick Brion picks up a win, I think you can definitely go over for Lava. But that's really the question you need to answer for yourself. Then we have Henna Delight at 5.5. If you think they pick up a game, the correct answer is over. I'm not convinced that they will, so I would leave both of those off. I feel good about the Aiming and Life one though. In World Elite against EDG, we have Shanks at over under 3, and Xing plus Kadaya at 4.5. All it takes is one bloody game. Even in a 0-2, they could get past these numbers. Let's see. 4, 7, 4, 11. I think the correct side's probably the over for Shanks. And then for Xing, yeah, again, 6 kills in a loss, 8. And these are them getting swept. So that looks like those should both be overs. And then Kadaya, still getting a couple kills in some of these spots. I would say it's probably over. That doesn't feel good clicking those buttons, but that's what I would want to do. This is a spot where I think if this goes over, one of these is going to go over, because it tells me that there's going to be either a very bloody win for EDG. I guess it's probably not positively correlated. 7 kills. Let's see. 7. I don't love that. Probably a stay away from me. Oh, 25 kills. That's a big one. What was his score that night? 141. Yikes. If anything, you're playing the Viper over. The Viper over will be more consistent than the Scout over. I could take it or leave it, though. Then we have T1 against Homolife. So they have Karis at over 2.5. I'm not playing that. Gumayusi and Karya. Let's go back to T1, Faker. I think it's an over spot. It's 5.5. He had 0 kills last time in his last match. That does not seem like it's going to happen again. 7, 8, 11, 13. I would be tempted to play over and just hope that it's a bloody match. I don't love either one of them though. I like the Gumayusi plus Karya more than Faker in general, so I'll click that. Then we have Rare Atom against LNG. I think this is a good spot for LNG. The numbers do reflect the idea that it'll be somewhat popular. So Doinby at 8 seems high. 7. I feel like they're begging you to take the under on this spot. If you're going to play an under, it would be Light plus Lumao. I know that the last time that Rare Atom played, they gave up a ton of kills. I'd rather play like the under on something like this. And if I'm going to play the over, I'd rather play the over on Draftkings. In like a in a for a lineup on DraftKings. Yeah, can't play in New Jersey. Oh well, gave it a shot. So let's go to Prizepicks and do some comparisons on the over-unders. So we have mid. We have Vigla at 5, Vigla at 5. Then we don't have junglers, so nothing there really. Lava at 3.5 and 3.5, so there's nothing there. Then we have Scout at 7. So it's slightly better to play it on Underdog. There's no hook against you. Junjia at 4.5. Doesn't really matter. You could also like combine the Underdog and Prizepicks numbers to see what the lines should be for the rival stuff. View. Beishang is not playing. Shanks at 2.5. Shanks at 2.5. Over here it's 3, so it's slightly better to play Shanks on Prizepicks. Owner against Faker. Faker 5. It was 5 on both sites. Karis at 3 versus Karis at, I think it was 2.5. So really not much of a difference. These are probably getting bet down as soon as they're released. I don't, update this every second. Doinb at 6 versus 8. Okay, so Prizepicks, it's much better to play Doinb over there. And that's basically it. So I'd say if you're just playing this based off of what's going on between the two sites, I would take Doinb over Tarzan at 7. Can't really touch that one. I would consider playing Faker on the over. Owner at 5.5. No. Shanks 2.5. I could see this one. Shanks 2.5. View at 2.5. I want to play that. So that's 4, and then Junjia over. Junjia over 4.5. So if I was only playing on Prizepicks tonight, it would be Doinb over, Faker over, Shanks over, View over, Junjia over. Let's take a look at DraftKings real quick. Like I said, I think that LNG is probably the best play tonight. LNG is relatively expensive. EDG, LNG. T1 is surprisingly low. What the hell is that? Alright, they're kind of begging you to play T1. What the hell? Yeah, that seems low. Let's see if this fits. So you do something like that. You throw in Gumayusi. Zeus. T1 team slot's expensive. Owner's expensive. Faker. You could fit Faker in there. How else do you do it? LNG, T1, EDG. Gumayusi, light. And then you still have to make one more change. So I think it should be light Gumayusi. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to figure that one out. I'm probably gonna play LNG with T1. LNG with T1 or EDG. That's probably where I'm going tonight. I'm only going to play one lineup, I think. So I'll probably try to make it a unique 4-2-1 or 3-3-1, something like that. But that's all I got for today. Remember, if you want to help support the channel, check out Underdog using promo code PIKEL. You can also use the link in the description below. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.